Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, March 5th, 2023. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new to this podcast, please be sure to check out my website at lisahopp.com. It is all about my work and also gives you ability to schedule an appointment, which is only done through online scheduling. And it also lists all my upcoming events. And I'm also on Instagram under Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp, on Facebook under Spirit Teacher Lisa M. Hopp. Please be sure to find me there and to follow the page because it has a lot of updates on upcoming events. Facebook business page followers are the first to know when events are listed. And if you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. I would appreciate so much. I see my followers steadily going up, my subscribers, and I am so grateful for that. Please do spread the word around if you feel a connection, if you're moved by this podcast today. I would appreciate it so very much. And please check out the podcast in the past because they have timely topics. They are always inspired by my clients and also by my everyday life. And so see if you can find another one there that will help you as a healing tool today. So today's topic is why we die. Now, the word death or die is not really a true statement or word to describe what happens with us. We are energy and we live on forever. We are eternal and relationships are eternal and love is eternal. When I talk about death and dying, I talk about just the physical body, the body that has your organs, the body that has your blood, your ligaments, your muscles. Your subconscious mind, your powerful mind also lives on. And I would like to think in some way your emotional heart lives on because of that ability to love. But yes, your physical heart does not live on. So why do we choose to leave this earth when we do? Because in order for us to pass to heaven, we would have to surrender our will. And also heaven's will would have to allow us to arrive. So the two wills join together and then the transition happens. Now why I bring this up as a very emotional topic is because my work involves giving healing tools to help those with grief. I am not a licensed therapist, but I do give connections to heaven to hear from those loved ones that have crossed over. I also do healing. And so I understand, and I also understand personally loss. Whether you can connect with heaven or not, you feel the tremendous physical void and emotional loss of a loved one who has crossed over. And it just doesn't escape you. And I feel that in my work, it helps me with my clients because, there should be empathy involved. There should be feelings involved, not just a cold instrument doing their job. And so that is definitely not me. I think it's the hardest thing for us to contend with in this life is when someone crosses over because it's so out of our hands. And we are human. You are so human. And we can't help but think and feel they must not have wanted to go. Why didn't they love us more? Why didn't they want to stay? If I had gotten there, I could have made them stay. I could have done something. I often say I think Hollywood movies and TVs and such promote that too, that somehow we can get there in time or somehow there can be a miracle. Perhaps our own religion promotes that as well. If someone lives, it's God answering. And if someone doesn't, well, trusting God. We may not understand, but it didn't work out this time. It is just not like that. It's not a lottery. And sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. And no one passes in fear because they have to be in that surrendering place. And today I'd like to explain that surrendering place. And I'd like to explain the story, the life that we come here to live, and why it is over when it's over, and how it is individual. It is between us and God, or us and Source, whatever you may call it, us and Yahweh. It doesn't matter. It is independent. It is solo. And no human has a say in it other than our will. It is our will at work. And we know our will. So let me explain that to you. We come to this incarnation because it is the greatest place to create, to work out our past need for healing, our past experiences, because our soul is very old. Our soul's been at work in beyond multiple lives for many, many years, maybe even millions. And there's nothing like coming here. It's like a boot camp, because while we create a blueprint to come here with of who we want to be with, what part we're all going to play to each other, who might cross momentarily or who might stay forever, we, for the most part, don't create a lot before we get here of the experiences that we have. In this moment that you're listening to this podcast, you are creating your tomorrows. You're creating your future. That's why it's so important to stay in the future with outcomes finished that you want, rather than living in the past where things are not where you want them. And most of us on autopilot tend to live in the past. We're thinking about what people have done to us. We're thinking about regrets we have. If we're thinking about wonderful memories, that's okay, but most of the time we're not. Most of the time we're thinking about what we'd like to change of the past. We wake up in the morning doing that as well. Before we even rise out of bed, we're concentrating on the past. And what you focus on, you get more of. So you're recreating your past every day. I want to repeat that for you to really lock it in. You're recreating your past every day. Unless you're a conscious creator of your life, which the most successful in this world are. They are. The ones that are working on good vibrations. The ones that know how to consciously create, and most of them teach it in some way, shape, or form, whether it's scientific, whether it's spiritual, whether it's business talks, they're teaching it. So listen, listen, listen. So back to the topic. So while we come here with a lot of creative ability, we also come here with the blueprint, the quote, work. And when that work is complete, or when we feel it's complete, that we've gotten it done, or that we can't come to a place to ever get it done here, we're going to go to the other side as long as it's okayed. And there's a feeling that we get, many of us, I feel most of you think you're plucked out of here and you don't know when your day is coming. But you actually do feel internally when your day is coming. There's nothing like that feeling. You don't have fear. You may be caught off guard by the quickness. You definitely, most of the time, cannot see how. But there is a feeling inside which is unmistakable. And you will give hints to all those people around you when that time has come, as your loved ones who have crossed over have given hints as well. You feel a complete peace inside, a complete contentment, a complete I'm done. It's not an I'm done of depression, even if you've had depression and anxiety through your life. Someone who passes from, let's say, a drug overdose, or even most of the time a suicide, and I'll explain that why it's most of the time, comes not to, I'm so depressed, I can't be here. It's a feeling of, I'm done, I'm complete. There is no more. A person in suicide will feel a crater, a hole that they just cannot get beyond. They just want, perhaps they've had pain, emotional and otherwise, and they just are ready for the stop of it. They just want stop. They're not even thinking about death itself. They're thinking about stop. But for the rest of us who are not intentionally involved in our crossing, it is a peacefulness, and it may be a peacefulness for those also who commit suicide. It is in its way. It truly is. It is just a feeling of everyone will be all right. I'm all right. I'm ready to go. There is no fear. There is no anxiety. There is no worry. There is just it's time. It's time. And our soul tells us, and we feel it within the core of ourselves, while perhaps most of the time not feeling it in our head. Now, if it is intentional, we may feel it in our head. And we may even say, it's coming. But for most of us, it is an internal core feeling of peace, contentment, closure, readiness, being able to let go of those here and knowing they'll be okay, assuredness, calm, just calm. And it doesn't matter how much we love someone here and how much we don't want to leave them. When you're ready, you can't go back. You can't stay. It's just something of its own energy. And sometimes it means that we love those we leave behind even more. I can serve them more from heaven. I can be there in any way for them more. That can be involved as well. So it's so important to know this. And I want to tell you why. For your own healing, in that you couldn't have stopped it if you had gotten there a second sooner, if you had found the right doctor, if you had said something differently, it wouldn't have mattered. When it is time to transition, when the soul has surrendered and the will of that heavenly source is on board, it's a go. It is simply a go. So here is what it is so important to take from it. That understanding, but also it is so important to not have the regrets. Say what you want to say every day. If you can't say it, write it. And you don't even have to verbalize it or send the letter. If you are working on forgiveness within yourself, if you are sending out love to the people on earth, if you are healing everything all you can, that heals that relationship, whether you have spoken to them or are speaking to them or not. But really, most of the time, it's so important to say what you truly want to say, just so you have that closure. Because you're the one left behind. You're the one that has to now endure this boot camp. Now, I sometimes have clients come to me. It doesn't happen often. But I'll have a client come to me and they will say, "Oh no, I'm ready. I want to go." And I can tell by their vibration that is not true. Being physically tired is not readiness to transition. Feeling exasperated, feeling unhappy with life, missing a loved one in heaven is not enough to transition. It's just deeper. It's just deeper. It is something unexplainable. And people around you, when you are ready to transition, will see your soul leaving your body through your eyes, because the eyes are the window of the soul. And they may say to others or to themselves or potentially to you, "You look tired." But they don't mean a physical tired. They just can't find the right words to describe what they're seeing. It's like the eyes are dilated, or there's just something gone about them. But yet there's really no human word to describe it. The true description is the soul is departing. But even I, who notice it at times, won't say a word, will ignore it, because I respect two reasons. I respect the intimacy between that person, their soul, and heaven, and what is going on. It's not my right to be a part of it, unless they make me a part of it. Secondly, if it is someone I love tremendously, I don't want to fast forward my grief. I don't want to know until I have to know. So I ignore it to protect myself. But I have seen it. I have seen it in healthy young people, and I have seen it in older people. I have been with people where their loved ones and them think their time is close, and their eyes are solid and alert, and their will and soul are fully here. And then I know, no. It may be coming in a shorter number of time, but it's not now, and it's not close. But I don't want you to go around this world looking at eyes, especially of your loved ones and your friends, out of fear, because it's not your journey when that is happening. It is best to live your life saying what is so important to say, hugging, expressing, living with no regrets. I want to say one thing though. I do check eyes when I'm getting on a plane. And I do check my own occasionally. But it's more about a feeling than the eyes. I check in on myself. How are you feeling today? If I go to an airport and I know it's not my time, I just don't want to get on a plane with others where it is their time. I just want to avoid that. So that's one thing I do. But in other cases, And I wouldn't say a word. It's for my own self. But in other cases, when it is personal or even professional, I am not going to say a word about those eyes. Now, when people come to me, when clients come to me, and it is close to their time, that is an appointment where we talk about heaven. But I'm talking about if I am with someone in my world, if someone crosses my path in any way, whether it's a personal, close relationship or a relative of a client, I'm not saying a word because it is not my right. It is personal. It is intimate. The will, the soul have to be honored. And I always ask for my guides to put me where I'm needed. When someone I love has a health matter, I will ask, what's going on here? What role am I to play? Am I getting them through this? Or am I there to put aside my feelings and help them through their transition time, to bring them peace, to help them to have peace? That is your role as well with those you love. How am I to be there? Because we are, all of us, supposed to serve each other. We are all interconnected. And sometimes we have to be larger versions of ourselves. It's so important to know that someone who loves you may be ready to leave you with their soul, with their earth path, but it doesn't mean they don't love you and that they're done physically wanting to be with you. It just goes deeper to the core. It just is, it's beyond explanation. So I've had people come to me before, again, and feel that they're ready to transition. And the vibration still needs to know that people will be all right, that this event has to conclude, that has to be set up. That is not someone ready to transition. Again, within you, you will not have any fear. You will feel almost a exhilaration within, with the contentment, but not overly. You don't get necessarily giddy. Though Bob Proctor, who passed a spiritual teacher, had a looking forward to heaven in a very exhilarated way. Most of the time it's just peaceful waters. It's just peacefulness. Tranquil. Concluded. Done. Complete. Fulfilled. These are the feelings that you have. So if you are one like many who wants to walk around this earth fearing death, you're not going anywhere as long as you're fearing it. And it's a complete waste of time because there's nothing to fear. And you won't go until you're ready, and you will be well taken care of as your loved ones are well taken care of. And let's talk about that. Your loved ones in heaven are surrounding you and surrounding your loved ones that are about to depart, and they come early. They know when it's coming. They don't know the exact hour for a long while, but as it gets closer, they'll get told it's a go. And they will surround you to take care of you, and they surround them. So many of our loved ones who depart, before they depart, see their loved ones. They're not out of their mind. They're not imagining it. Their parents, if they are crossed, are there. Someone who is there to take care of them is there, and they are seeing and feeling the connection. Plus, they have angels around them, because we all have 1 to 2 angels. Sometimes they have big masters, like Mary or Jesus. And sometimes when they go home, well, all of these people are waiting for them in beings. Often, most of the time. When you transition, you go into this place that is all loving in an immeasurable way, accepting, adored, merciful. You get your review and it flashes by you, but you get the whole everything of it. It's a flash, but you get to be everyone in your life first person. You get to understand it. You get a lot of the answers. You get a lot of the whys. You get the reunions. You get the bliss of being home again. The place where you came from. The place where you go back. We here who are left behind either haven't even learned about their passing or definitely have not gotten the full feeling of their passing. We're still going through the, oh my gosh, it's happened. When they have come back to us, they're around us, gosh, almost immediately. It is so fast. If it's slower, maybe it's an hour later, but it's same day. They come around us to make sure we're all right. If they're passing from an illness, they will be around us often before they even fully pass their body. They're around us comforting us outside their body before their body fully expires. And they are feeling light. All of their worries, their stresses, their physical body ailments are gone. All of their depression gone. Can they feel sadness because of us? Yes. Can they feel regrets over their review? Yes. Can they want to make things right? Oh, yes. Always. And they will. If there's something for them to correct, they will. They'll go right at it. In this wonderful place that is home. We are taught often in this world to fear death, to fear that we might go to heaven, and to fear God. Oh my goodness. There's nothing right about that. Unless you are inherently evil, and even evil can be redeemed and not given up on, you're going. You're going. That doesn't mean that you should live your life la vida loca without a care in the world to how you treat people. There is such a thing as what you put out, you get back. So you want to have a good, positive, fulfilling life and take care of others. But to fear that you might end up in hell, to fear that you might end up in a purgatory and stuck there, a limbo, oh my goodness, no. No. Now let's talk briefly, before I let you go today, about what taking care of others on this earth means, and regrets, and love. It doesn't mean that you have to stay in unhealthy relationships and just forgive, forget. It doesn't mean that you have to keep communication going with all family, no matter what. You are allowed and should honor yourself, take care of yourself, do what is good by you. Fill your tank first. When I speak about taking care of each other, I mean that you don't wish harm on another. that you don't do things without regard for another. You can cut someone from your life and send them love energetically. You should do that. You should want them to be all right. You should want the best for them. But that doesn't mean you should allow them to have dominion over you in an unhealthy way. And heaven will say that too. Heaven often comes through and says, we understand why you cut a brother, cut a sister, cut a father, cut a mother if need be. We understand. Cut a friend. We don't have to be all, as I said, taking it love and light because we think it'll please heaven. It's not the keys to heaven. The keys to heaven is actually loving yourself first and then overflowing it out to others. And love of yourself first often means healthy only relationships around you. So please know that you're allowed to do that. You won't get in trouble. I think, quote, trouble is more coming at you if you don't treat yourself right. And they ask you, well, why'd you go and do that? So answer well for yourself and be ready to answer in heaven. And they'll already know. But please know that while some earn more keys to heaven through their lives, you don't have to earn a key at all. You're just loved unconditionally. You are accepted. You are the prodigal son, the prodigal daughter. And you're in. I don't know anyone. Well, yes, I've come across evil. To be honest, I have come across evil. But I would never say that where they are, because it's not my job to decide where they should be. But I know enough about heaven that I could never say eternal, forever. It's done. Because I've known souls who did evil acts that are in heaven today because they were redeemed. And so know that. Know that. Try to believe that, if you will. Just try to believe. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that helped. I want you to file it because life is meant to have loss. When you love, you will have loss. You will grieve. Love is something we don't want to miss out on. But unfortunately, we can't miss out on grief when we have it. So I do hope that helped a bit today. And I wish you all that you need for healing and life. A life well lived. A life that is fulfilling. A life that is great with many blessings. Be sure to check out my website at lisahop.com. Like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. And you are welcome to follow me on my Facebook business page of Spirit Teacher Lisa M. Hop. Thank you so much. All the best for your wonderful Sunday. And I'll talk to you next time.